This episode is proudly sponsored by McKee, Campbell, Morrison Solicitors. Whether you need expert legal advice for personal or business matters, their experienced team is here to help you navigate the law with confidence.
Welcome to FoundHer Place, the podcast that celebrates women who've started a business and scaled it into something extraordinary. I'm Lynne Kennedy, founder of Businesswomen Scotland and Businesswomen Connections.
And I'm Stacy Campbell, co-founder of McKee, Campbell, Morrison Solicitors. And today we are joined by the woman who's quite literally built the roadmap for scaling businesses, Suzie McCafferty, founder and CEO of Platinum Wave Franchising. Welcome,
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, welcome, Suzie. Just a little bit of background information about Suzie before we actually start into a conversation. So Suzie's story starts in Edinburgh with a single-in cartridge shop that turned into a 70-outlet franchise across 6 countries. From there, she became franchise director of a 30 million recruitment network and founded Platinum Wave, the consultancy that's helped more than 60 businesses franchise successfully here in the UK and internationally. Franchising really is in her DNA. Her brother Steve leads recruitment at Platinum Wave, and her sister left banking to run her own franchise business. But for me, this conversation is especially close to home because Suzie also helped me turn my vision, Businesswomen Connections, into a franchise, and I couldn't have actually done it without her. So welcome, Suzie. We're delighted to have you here at FoundHer Place.
Thank you very much. Great
And
to be with you.
Guest.
I know, I feel very honoured.
I know, I won't use the word guinea pig.
No, we decided not to use guinea pig.
I know.
Welcome.
Great to be here.
Oh,
Thank you.
we're so happy that you've joined us. We're so interested in hearing your story and sharing it with hopefully all of our listeners. Could you take us back to the beginning and what inspired you to kick your business off?
Yeah, well, I think it comes right back to the beginning. I'm the classic middle child in my family. I was never going to work for the bank like everybody else in my family did. I went to university because everybody in my family went to university. And I found a course that I loved. I was surrounded by people that I loved. And I got my first class honours degree, not because I'm academic, but because I was doing something I loved. So I learned very early on in my working life to be around people that you actually like, to do things that you really feel a passion for, and you'll do well. So fast forward after that, I got my first job. It was actually a marketing manager of a meat business. So I always said if I could market,
You were vegetarian, I take it.
No, if I could market big slabs of meat, then I could market anything. So it was good training, let's just say that. And I had a brilliant MD who took me under his wing and gave me the confidence to go out there and try new things. So I went into self-employment about 22, 23.
That's really young.
Yeah,
really
yeah. I had a ink cartridge refilling business with a business partner at the time. And it was very early on. It was on Haymarket Terrace in Edinburgh, perfect location.
I used to walk past it every day actually on my way to my first job.
Brilliant. They talk about iconic locations. I now know that 26 years on what that means.
You can actually still see your branding.
Yeah, but back then I didn't know what an iconic location meant. That there was something that was there. It was up for rent. My business partner and I started an ink cartridge refilling business. So I always laugh, we help people franchise all kinds of businesses now. Yeah. Mine is probably the least sexy of them all. But we got in when there was a market for it. And very early on, people said to me, is this a franchise? Could we buy a franchise? And I was sat at my business partner going, what is this franchising thing? Why do people keep asking us about franchising? We did then franchise it. It took us a little while to do that. And then by the time I was 30, we had about 70 franchises in 6 different countries.
Wow. So you to get international.
Yeah, so I fell into franchising, but I'm so glad that I did. A little Scottish-based company that had taken this brand internationally by this thing called franchising. And then you fast forward after that, I exited that, did the same again with a recruitment agency business that was already trading, but using corporately owned development as well as franchising. And by the time I was finished with that, I'd built that to sort of a 30 million network. And I was part of the sale of that when I was 33. And then 16, almost 17 years ago, I set up Platinum Wave Franchising, which is this company that I have now, helping others to scale up their businesses through this vehicle of franchising. So,
wow, that is some journey.
Yeah.
That's really interesting that by the age of 30, you'd exited 2 businesses. how did you know the time was right to exit? Because that's quite a brave decision in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think time is definitely, you know when you know. Certainly at 30, it was a strategic decision for me personally to leave that business. And
is that a Goldilocks moment?
It was one of those.
Right.
It was a moments of realization that for me, it was time to move on to something else. And without that experience, it wasn't all plain sailing. Everyone talks about, oh, that's amazing, but I'm like, yeah, growing a business is difficult.
Yeah.
Having a business partner is difficult. Having franchisees at a very young age who are spending a lot of money in investing in your franchise when you're young there was lots of difficult times that have made me the businesswoman, I guess, and give me the resilience that I've now learned.
That's what I was going to go back to. Managing a team, when you said you'd 70 outlets, that's 70 different businesses with a franchise. Now I'm in the sort of franchise world as well, and looking at the people that you're bringing on that can actually take your brand and your vision to a certain level. Yeah. That is a real challenge. So how did you go about the recruitment part for your franchises?
I know, and it's very difficult. The recruitment of actual franchisees or recruitment of team to support that, that's two sides to the business. And I think for me, I knew nothing about managing people back then, full stop. But I did know that there's no way I could scale that business by myself. So I needed franchisees, and I needed a franchise support team to support my franchisees and make them successful. Otherwise, I would never be successful. And I think, again, from the School of Hard Knocks, which we all learn from, when I first started that business, I didn't have pots of cash to bring on loads of team to support franchisees. I didn't have pots of cash to go out and recruit franchisees. So it was all quite organic with that first business. I think I wore every single hat a million times over to recruit, train and support my first 10, 15 franchisees. I literally hung every price hook up on the retail boards when setting up new franchisees. I was travelling up and down the country with my big Warrior, Mitsubishi Warrior, and all the gear in the back to set up these shops. But actually, when I sold my first 10 franchises, that's when I started to feel like a real franchising company.
You're starting to make it at this point.
Because I had the investment to bring on more of a team, and I'd got the first round of franchisees up and running and successful to then build a business from there. But one thing I did learn very early on is you can't build a business by yourself.
No, you need the right team, don't you?
I know, and all the way through my working life, that has been my big passion, actually, of bringing on a dream team and having them grow with you.
And especially for you, because you obviously took it international now. Unless you're sitting there a super genius, I'm assuming you don't speak like 70 different languages.
Didn't have GPT then.
Well, they didn't. I know. How did any of us actually function?
I know, it's mad, it's crazy. But for me, the international development was because I had master franchisees who take on a country, or area developers who take on a region in a country. So it was really important for me that I recruited the right partners who didn't just have a passion for my brand and wanted to take it to their country, but they were seriously experienced business people. They had the money to then invest in the brand, land the brand, and roll out the brand. But also, again, the relationship part of that was something that I learned very early on. Again, it's all about people. I always tell this really funny story about, people always say to me, what was your favourite job that you've had, or your favourite business? And I go right back to my student job. I worked at a golf course locally from when I was 13. I had to get a work permit to work like 2 hours a week for like £1.25 an hour or something. But I had this boss, he had the catering business there called John Ray. And this guy had a fantastic work ethic. He would be the guy that would still be making a bacon roll for a member at 11 o'clock at night if they wanted to. And I remember being in the midst of a busy shift with him, and it was all kicking off. It was busy. We had events going on. We had, club events going on, and he was in the kitchen doing his thing. Where most chefs would be throwing stuff about the kitchen.
Yeah, absolutely.
He turned around and he just went, Susie, it's all about people. And I remember that phrase from back then, and every single business I've grown, or every time I work with a client, I remember that phrase, it's all about people, because without the right people, you can't scale up a business, you can't franchise a business, you can't grow a business. So yeah.
Isn't it funny that you always remember something at some point in your business career journey that somebody has said to you. So when I went out on my own, I thought I was ancient. I was 34 and set up a magazine and over 10 people working for me straight away. And I always remember the photographer's wife, who's very good friends with at the time, she said, Lynne, it's just always about holding your nerve.
Yeah.
And it's so true. It's the best advice because there's times in business it's not linear and there's this hockey stick moment when it's up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
And you kind of think, oh my goodness. So leading on from that, was there ever times for you where you ever thought, oh, this is just too much?
Yeah, I think one of the things I learned really quite young, because I had to. I mean, I was young, in my 20s, female, blonde. I was working in the Middle East.
And did people take you seriously, or did you feel you had to work extra hard to earn that credibility?
I think I felt I was pushing myself extra hard. You're never enough. You could do better. You could do more. So one of the things I learned really young, just through being in the thick of it, was the importance of resilience.
Yeah.
And it literally, you had to put that game face on whether you were feeling confident or not. We always talk about these big girl pants, but seriously, I had big girl pants quite young. You know, I was literally standing up going, okay, I've not done this before, but I've got to pull, and every bit of confidence I've got.
We were talking about that earlier, actually, about the swan. It's like underneath, oh my goodness, those feet are paddling.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
you always have to have the appearance of being confident, but you maybe don't feel it. And that's the whole thing, I think, with a lot of women in business, is the confidence aspect.
It is. And as women in business, we go through all sorts of times in our life, personal life as well as business life, where you actually go, you know, people do expect you at a certain level to be a certain way because you've been doing it for so long, but there's also a lot of pressure to keep bringing it every day, being that figurehead,
your best self. It's like you have to bring your best self to the table.
Yeah, definitely. So I thrive in it at the same time. As much as I still put that pressure on myself. It's not coming from other people, but I thrive.
I think that's when you get the best results, because actually you're doing it for you. Do you know, you're putting the pressure on. You're not letting anybody else down. You just want to do it for yourself.
Exactly.
Do it as best you can.
So for Platinum Wave, so you moved on Platinum Wave, you've got this successful franchising business, and you've helped so many businesses franchise. Is there any top tips you would give to somebody out there that has a business just now and thinking, do you know, I'm really thinking about franchising my business? What would you suggest would be their first port of call? I'm giving yourself a call.
So my number is
I know.
Feel free.
I know. So the first thing I would say to people is franchising is so underestimated as a growth strategy. We've got dog walking franchises, first aid franchises, home care franchises, to food franchises, and everything in between. And I think a lot of people, when they hear the word franchising, they think it's pyramid selling. It's not. It's network marketing. It's not. It's called business format franchising, where people buy into your brand, your systems, your documents, and people make serious futures for themselves. You know, I've seen people sell their franchises for big sums within actually a relatively short period of time. So,
well, it's giving somebody the blueprint model, isn't it, to actually kind of go, look, this is what I've done and I've made a success from it, and you too can do the same thing, but you're not taking the same risk.
Totally.
I think people are surprised as well by what businesses actually are franchises, because you hear household names and you're like, is that a franchise? I didn't know that. So really, really successful businesses. It's a great way, it's a great route to business, isn't it?
Totally. I mean, if you look around your local communities, the oven cleaning franchise, oven cleaning business is a franchise, dog walking, swim schools, ballet schools, you know, there's so many sectors that are franchised. So my advice to anybody looking to scale up a business who's maybe not even thought about franchising is look at it as a potential growth strategy, like any other growth strategy. It does require time, it does require investment, like any other growth strategy, but it is a way to scale up your business with like-minded people who will follow your systems and standards if you document them properly. And again, you know, I'm just one of many people that have scaled up their businesses successfully and taken their brands into all sorts of markets. So my advice would be, firstly, don't underestimate the power of it. Small businesses as well as corporates can be franchised. We have clients in all kinds of sectors and sizes. Trademark your brand, protect your brand, your intellectual property, because that's what people are buying into first. And then document your systems and processes. A lot of people say to me, Suzie, there's no way I can franchise because no one can do it like me. And I fell into that trap all these years ago too. But actually what I showed 10 times over, and my clients show all the time, is if you take the time to document your systems, procedures, your standards, and if you put the right auditing and compliance in place as you scale up, and scale up internationally, look what it can do. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And the key is really always to get the right team, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the right person that will take your vision onto something else.
Yeah.
Have you experienced anyone that's taken a franchise that's maybe not had that kind of experience, and maybe they've had somebody, this is where Stacy comes in with her franchise.
I was just about to get the huge fun extractor
There is the legal side of things here that we were talking about earlier, but it's just your touching base. It's very important to get that in place to protect the franchisor as well.
Completely. I mean, I see still some horror cases in franchising, whether it's businesses who've thought it's a get rich quick scheme, sell lots of franchises, get those upfront franchise fees, and you can go and buy your yacht, when actually the whole thing about franchising is it has to be a win-win. If your franchisees never make money, you're never going to be a successful franchising company. But similarly, I've seen franchisees who've thought they've been buying into a legit franchise when there's lots of people who haven't structured it properly, haven't protected their brand, there's no support.
But that's why you have to do your due diligence. I mean, I think people perceive some sort of, I don't know, almost false comfort in the fact you hear the word franchise. It's like, no, it's a legal agreement. Please review your franchise agreement, take independent legal advice.
Completely.
And do your due diligence the way you would as if you were doing any business transaction.
Absolutely. I mean, I've seen so many great success stories, and I could talk about them all day.
Yeah.
But
and that's the great side of it.
Yeah. I mean, from, our homegrown, Glasgow-based business, the Hero brands are based in Glasgow, and they've scaled up one of the fastest growing and most successful QSR, quick service restaurant brands globally in the last 8 years. Founded in Scotland, which is a journey I'm personally very proud of, and the family who own the brand that I've worked with for a number of years should be extremely proud of. So there's loads of great success stories for franchising companies, but also I've helped franchisees exit from the businesses that they've invested in all these years later. There's a guy that bought a courier franchise for £25,000, and 10 years later he sold it for 1.2 million.
Oh, wow. Hearing these
That's fantastic.
How many 1,000% return on a 10-year period, having come into a new industry that he'd never been in before. And then the stories of my sister, who sadly, she got breast cancer at 39, and 20 years of banking, business analyst, senior level. And now she owns a successful home design business. She bought a franchise and she's doing really well, but she's got a different work-life balance now. Flexibility, working around the family.
That's the thing, you're your own boss, so you can build the flexibility in there.
One of the challenges that we see all the time with women in business, not just in the franchising world, but just in general, about buying a business or starting a business. And one of the big issues that you hear about time and time again is about access to finance or going for finance. And people kind of then think, oh, but then I'm going to be in so much debt and I've got this, but it's not their personal debt, it's their business debt. Do you see that a lot? Do you think that's still a barrier for women really going for finance to actually start a franchise? Well, obviously it depends on what franchise they're going to go for, but do you still see people are still quite hesitant about going forward?
Yeah, I think there's, especially I'm very passionate about encouraging women into business and into franchising, obviously. And one of those barriers, apart from the whole, do I have the skills? Can I still balance family life? Is leaving that salary. Again, though I see so many women leaving corporate life that are on 6-figure salaries, for example, and they're saying, well, how can I leave a 6-figure salary with all my perks and my benefits to start from nothing? And the banks love franchising.
They're very supportive, aren't they? All of the mainstream banks seem to really, really want people to go into it.
You can give them a proven strategy, can't you? The banks love that, and they can actually say, we've got so many other franchisees that are making this
I take it used to, I mean, you would still have to put some skin in the game, I think.
Yeah, so how it tends to work is, you know, so Barclays, HSBC, NatWest, Lloyds, all the sort of main banks like that have dedicated franchise teams who will lend up to 70 to 75% for a proven concept, franchise concept. So that's that's all in, that's the franchise fee. If it's premises based, that's the fit out, stock, equipment, working capital. So normally the franchisee needs to find, you know, between 25 to 30% of their own liquid available cash. And the banks fund the rest over like a 5.
Fantastic.
So it is making it really more accessible. If you're under a certain age, the Princess Trust has been known to support the youngsters getting into franchising.
That's great. Yeah.
And do you know, we're actually seeing a lot more females buying franchises and people under 30, which I think is really exciting.
Yeah, it is.
It's helping more people get into business with the safety net of the support of a franchise around it, which is great.
And look what you can do with it. Though. It's like, that's how you start, but presumably where you finish is just up to you.
Working with the government, that's one of the things they were talking about, is the franchise is a great model for younger generations. So maybe some women that have issues with childcare, but they still have a great business idea or still want to get into business. So the franchise is another opportunity for them, but also for women, maybe women returners that have maybe been in a situation where they've been looking after elderly parents and they want to get back into the business world, but they find it difficult to get into corporate because of their age. I think this is where franchising really kind of fits into working with all the different age categories now as well.
I would love to see franchising more on the agenda with the government. I'd love to see it more on the academic sort of side of things.
Schools and universities. I
Yeah.
mean,
It is an option.
5 years at university, I don't think I heard the word franchising. So
Yeah, well, do you know, this is kind of a nice story. When I was at uni, which was a long time ago now, Sir Tom Farmer came into my innovation and entrepreneurship course one day, and he spoke about how he built this tire empire through this thing called franchising, and that was the first and only time I'd heard about franchising. And then I graduated, and then when that person came into my shop and spoke about franchising, it took me straight back to Sir Tom Farmer. And sadly, obviously, he's passed, and I never got the chance to tell him personally that he was a huge inspiration, actually. But, you know, I was involved with speaking at Queen Margaret University, where I graduated from, as a guest lecturer recently, going along talking about franchising. And it's nice to see more interest in that now, you know.
And you're a fantastic ambassador for it, for everything that you've done through.
Hopefully.
I mean, it almost feels like it could be a degree in itself.
Yeah.
Well, on my personal note for Businesswomen Connections, I need to put this in as well, because I met you, must be about 10 years ago, when I invited you to be a speaker up in Aberdeen for Businesswomen Scotland, when we used to do all our roadshows and we'd bring in all the different speakers, and it was an all-day event. And I remember saying to you, do you think I could do this as a franchise? Oh, absolutely. It wasn't even any hesitance in your voice. You just went, absolutely, you could do this. Come on, let's just do it.
Yeah.
And then 10 years on, obviously, COVID hit. And I thought, this is a great opportunity to actually have some time to start doing ops manuals and working out how we could actually do this. So I have to thank you, because you were instrumental in me setting it all up. And now I really do enjoy it, and I'm still finding my feet with it, if I'm honest, because I think it really goes back to finding the right people and then trying to scale it as well. But I need to get those big brave pants on that you were talking about earlier. The franchise pants.
There you go. You've started it here now.
That's something that we could bring out very soon.
Maybe that's what I should call the new book, is Franchise Pants. There you go.
And being brave. So I want to thank you for that.
It's a pleasure.
I would never have started. I wouldn't even have known where to start. Because it's one of those things, I can franchise the business. And I went,
You should have done it ages ago. But do you know, it's one of those things people always say to me, I'm going to franchise my business. And straight away, I'm the first to say, you can't franchise an idea, or you can't franchise that because it's not proven. And you see so many things that are just a fad or a trend and things like that. But when you said that, I'm like, yeah, you can absolutely franchise that.
Well, for us, for Businesswomen Connections, and when we were starting looking at the research, I mean, Scotland's very fortunate because we've got such a great ecosystem and all the different places that we can go to, from Scottish Enterprise, Business Gateway, all the different, these are areas of support to certain levels, but in England, unless you're part of a good local council that maybe have some investment for women in business, there's not really anywhere to go that offers the support that we are given.
No.
So you either join the BNI or a chamber, but even the chamber just touches on, you know, women in business lunches. So this is where we kind of saw straight away there is the opportunity to do something down here. And I still go back to England, Manchester's population is bigger than the whole of Scotland. So then when you start looking at scalability at that point, it's like, well, it's really, you need to do this.
Yeah, and that's why people look at franchising, because you've got a brand that is scalable, but you're not going to open there yourself. So if you have local people with local knowledge and contacts that can build the brand on a local level in line with your brand standards, that's where franchising really genuinely does work. But the time you've taken to franchise this properly has been really important as well, because you've put a lot of work into your brand, your systems, your support, everything. So it's been the right time for you to launch your franchise.
I must admit, I have taken a bit of time. It probably could have gone faster, but I think for me, I just really needed to know that I had everything in
you're
place.
doing it right.
You want to get it right.
Absolutely.
I just didn't want to put myself out there, but you know me, I'm all about the colours and branding.
I know. I'm like, Lynne, you just pick. You do branding.
I'm actually just doing anything normal. It's just like, no. We need to get branded mugs out there as well.
Right. There's no... That's to be applauded.
Yeah, absolutely.
So have you got a really interesting project you're working on at the moment?
Oh, lots actually. We're doing lots of international work just now. It's great to see UK brands now looking to scale up internationally, because that's obviously, they've proven the brand in their home market. And where the real fun begins is scaling up now, using your intellectual property in lots of other international markets. So we're doing quite a lot of that, which is great. But what I'm loving especially is bringing international brands into the UK. The UK is seen as a great platform for international growth. If you can make it in the UK, a lot of brands think you can make it in lots of other markets. So we've got, hopefully up to Christmas time, we've got quite a few master franchise deals to be signing for the UK for clients who are coming into the UK. But it's nice to see these projects coming to fruition, because before we've got to this stage, we've helped them. It's never a case of lifting and shifting a brand and hoping that it sticks in a new country. So we've done all their brand protection work with them, all their localization of their documents, procedures, systems, supply chain, fit out costs, all the investment costs, as well as then recruiting these international partners here. So yeah, that's exciting. We're also doing loads of mentorship as well. So it's not just setting up franchisors or franchisees. I've got a part of the business which I love myself is helping people then realise their investments. So helping franchisors be great franchisors and teaching them all the techniques and the systems that need to go in as you grow your network to keep franchisees engaged and collaborating with you. And then working with franchisees to take what could be a £50,000 turnover business to £500,000 turnover business, those through the £1 million turnover marks and more. So that's good fun when you see the results at the end as well.
Absolutely. And you're a mum as well, so presumably this gives you the flexibility to also raise your daughter. And
So I'm an older mum in my group. I think I'm about 15 years older than most mums in the village school at Aria's age. So I had the little one when I was in my was 42.
By which point you'd already exited a couple of businesses and had gone international.
Yeah, I had. But perceptions are funny, because people always thought I was too busy building my empires, and but it was a 10-year journey to have my little miracle baby, who is wonderful. But that's what I was doing when my friends were bringing up their kids. I was bringing up my businesses and I was doing what I knew best and growing businesses. But when I had Aria, who's now 7, I had 4 businesses at the time. And it's like, how do you do this as a working mum?
Need the team. And you need the team in your business and you need the team at home, don't you?
Yeah, and that's where my work team, my family work team all stepped up, and actually my businesses flourished even more as a result. Giving people the autonomy to own their division, to run it like it's their baby has been something, again, I learned quite young. That multiplier effect that you hear about.
Yeah, and you actually trusting them as well, which is really important for them to scale their part of the business. And it's good to be part of an award-winning business too.
Yeah, so it's great to be now in the position where my little one is front and centre and my businesses are running with great teams, and, you know, it feels like we're in a good place. Touch wood.
And you've also written a book.
I have, This has been a real labour of love, I must be honest. Again, going back to that middle child thing, trying to get me to sit down and write something in front.
Did you dictate it though?
So, very long story, but I now know why it took me so long to write this book. I couldn't get the words on the paper, and I couldn't sit still long enough, and it just was overwhelmed. And I saw this wonderful lady, Suzanne Ulf, on LinkedIn. I kept watching her. She's a ghostwriter, and well, she's not. She's a book. She's actually
that was a programme when we were at school, wasn't it? Ghostwriter.
Yeah. So she's more of a book coach. And do you know when sometimes you just see something at the right time?
Yeah.
And I think
it's just appropriate.
I've seen you a few times. I kind of like your videos, and I sent her this message saying, "Can I just pay you for an hour of your time? I need to speak to somebody about this." And within an hour of speaking to her, she's an ex-English teacher, she actually said, "Suzie, have you ever been assessed for dyslexia?"
Oh, wow.
At which point I just burst out laughing. I was like, I am the middle child. That's what this is. It's not anything more than that, but it is a dyslexic thing, genuinely. And actually, in your 40s, I'm now 48.
Imagine not finding out until you go to write a book.
But it explains
and you've been
a
through
lot.
School, you've been through uni.
It explains why I freaked out at school. It explains why I freaked out at uni, and other things. But actually now she has been brilliant. I wanted it to be in my own words, with my own anecdotes, and she's helped me. We record it and she writes it and puts the structure around it. So coming out next year. So
I
watch
can't
this
wait.
space.
Does it have a title?
It does. It's under wraps for now. Under wraps. So you'll be the first to know.
And anything about lunches and lots of copious amounts of fizz?
Yeah, plenty socialising and getting to know your clients. So
I think that's key for your role, Suzie.
It's what we're known for. Work hard, play hard, I think.
Subscribe to that for sure.
Yeah.
Lastly, I just want to ask, because your life is so full, I mean, with running businesses, travelling all over the country, doing all the different talks, what gets you up in the morning, and what is have you got any kind of mantras or anything that you kind of are quite consistent about what you do just to make yourself feel good and just to be positive, because you are such a positive person?
Yeah.
What is your key, you think, to success?
Do you know, I said before, it's all about people. I think now, and I've got 26 years of history behind me now with being self-employed, and I think genuinely now what gets me out of my bed work-wise is working with the right people every day, the right clients. So values first. If we don't have the same values, I'm not bought into it, and my team aren't bought into it. If it's the people fit first, and then it's the business fit and the sector fit, and then it's, can we be part of this relationship for the long term? We're not in it for a short, sharp shock. This is about a relationship thing for us. So that's what makes me tick at work. At home, to be honest, everything I do is for my home life now. It's family life first. My little lady. It's making sure that I'm available, I'm there, and I've got the balance right, which has been hard over the years. Traveling internationally, building my businesses, I have forfeited nights out or some events that I wouldn't have wanted to, but actually I'm now at a place where I can enjoy it. So my mantra is always, it's all about people.
That's a lovely note to end.
That's exactly what I was saying. That's a great note to finish on. Thank you so much for coming along to our first podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
In the middle.
I know this is part of you have been listening to FoundHer Place, scaling our business productions.
Thanks again, Suzie. Congratulations on everything you've achieved.
Thank you, and likewise to you, ladies.
Great. 3 ladies round a table.
And no fizz.
I know.
I think we need one now.
Absolutely.
Great,
that was fun. Thank you,
Suzie. Thank you for listening. This episode is proudly supported by McKee, Campbell, Morrison Solicitors. Legal advice made simple.